Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Wristwatch production. My name is Brandon, and this is my review of Legend of Korra, Book 4, Episode 8, Remembrances. There's not much to say about this episode. There really isn't. This episode was a clip show, a recap episode. That's all it really was. Now, I'm fine with this type of episode. I mean, I guess I'm not really fine with it, but I'm okay with it in this context, seeing that Legend of Korra is very disconnected because of its various seasons and stuff like that, and they're sort of trying to bring certain aspects of the show together. So I'm fine with that, but I'm a bit upset because, again, I think I have the same worry as everybody else is. This is the final book. This is the last book. This episode is in every way, shape, or form filler. You know, I think the only progression we got in this episode was Mako is training Wu how to fight. That's really kind of it. And, you know, the whole Mako being terrible with his romances and being a terrible douchebag, basically, I thought that whole section was actually rather funny. A bit too long, but actually rather funny. The Korra telling Asami about all the stuff that's happened is, I liked it and I didn't like it. I like it because Korra is sort of basically admitting that to some degree that she feels like she is the problem, that she is somehow the cause of everything that has happened. And I enjoyed that bit of self-reflection. What I didn't like and what I did not enjoy was the fact that she's telling Asami this. Asami has been there for everything. Why do you need to tell Asami the stuff that's been going on for however long? It doesn't really make sense to me, and it was kind of dumb. I'll be honest, it was kind of dumb. It was nice to see her reflect on the villains and reflect on everything that was caused from that point in time, but I wasn't really feeling it. And then we got the last section with Bolin and Varric, and of course that was super entertaining. That was really funny. I thought that was awesome. I feel like it was one giant sort of chide at the writers of the show, basically saying Unalaq was a crap villain. There was a huge slap at that. There was a huge shot taken at the whole finale of book 2 and how ridiculous and how stupid it is. And then you got the one firebender guy just going, it's just a mover. It's just there for entertainment. Don't think about it too much. And I feel like the writers are basically saying, you guys are being overly critical. Like, we're just here to make something fun and something action heavy. And I think that's true to some degree. But I feel like with an episode like this, I feel like the writers are basically showing, we take your stuff personally. Like, we take your stuff towards our creation personally. And, you know, I appreciate that. I've always been more lenient on Legend of Korra than I think a lot of other people in the fan base. You know, it has its flaws, but I've always been a lot more lenient on it than other people because I've always felt like it's a very different type of show. It's always been more action and plot focused over characters, and the characters are also a very different age than the characters in Avatar: The Last Airbender. And I think people were expecting the exact same show and they didn't get it. And I think there are problems with the story, and I think there are problems with you know, there's problems with everything, right? There's always going to be flaws and stuff. For as much as, for example, I absolutely love and adore Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel, but for me to sit here and say those shows have great production values or those shows don't have certain inconsistencies within the writing would be insane. You know, it would be absolutely insane. But at the end of the day, I think Legend of Korra is still a fairly good show. I think it still has a lot of stuff to offer, and I think even if the only thing that it ends up offering was like, oh my god, like that show had astounding action sequences for an animated show, I think that's good enough. You know, quite honestly, maybe it won't age as well, but I mean, I really enjoy Legend of Korra, and you know, this episode was nice to look at, but I'm also a bit disappointed because I was really expecting some plot stuff to happen, you know, and I haven't really been disappointed in Legend of Korra yet. I mean, book 2 had its flaws. Book 2 was a big misstep, but at the end of the day, I still really enjoyed it. Like, I can't hide my enjoyment. Even the worst season of you know, Legend of Korra, between both Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra, the very worst season is book 2 of Legend of Korra, and I even really enjoyed that. So it's going to be really hard for me to really be turned off from this show, but we only have 5 episodes left, and so I really can't help but really hope that we get some push, that we really get some acceleration, because I think this book needs it. You know, I think the biggest complaint that I've been seeing about this book is people are talking about how it's too slow. You know, coming off things like book 2 and book 3, where it was plot, 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 and the pacing was just, people felt book 2 was too fast. I can agree with that. I felt like they should have taken a step back for a little bit. But book 3, and I'll argue even book 1, had pretty good pacing, and this book does seem to be a bit slow, but I really feel like these 5 episodes, I have a lot of confidence. And I'm very positive towards this. And I can only sit here and hope that from this point onward, it'll be just a really good, fun ride. That's all I can really say. Now, on the note of what I liked about this episode, I liked how this episode did tie a bunch of stuff together. It did really feel like, hey, looking back at all the seasons, there actually was like a lot of cohesion, that Korra actually really did develop as a character. The whole romance stuff, all of the ridiculous spectacle, how kind of stupid book 2 was in a way. And even though, this episode didn't give me really what I wanted, I still really enjoyed it. And it's going to take a lot for me to go, wow, this was just bad. Because this wasn't a bad episode, let's be fair, but it was completely different from, I think, what we expected. Here's to hoping for a huge, wild ride for the next 5 episodes. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.